Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I'm Cory.
And I'm Matt. And each week this podcast will serve as a catalyst for discussion on all sorts of topics that grind our gears, rev our engines, or just need a bit more conversation.
And my goodness, do we have a lot of conversation this week between following up on road trips, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Which you and I both took our own road trips to essentially the same destination. And then that destination being Cory Morrow's Go Wheels Up event.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And we're going to get to that. But first, my goodness. Okay. Today is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021.
Uh-huh.
And Toyota just I want to choose my words carefully here. Just spilled car news everywhere on us today. They spammed us. They just flooded the interwebs with new vehicles.
Yeah.
In lieu of going to a car show or doing a big event, they had everyone out to essentially our backyard, their home turf out in Plano, Texas.
Yeah.
And I am looking at a screen now with 6 new vehicles on it, and that's just from Toyota. That's not even talking about the Lexus stuff that they're showing off today. So
it's crazy. All
kinds of Toyota news and events coming out today. And my personal favorite, I've already written a blog post on it. It's up on our gtgaragetalk.com. It's also up on our Facebook. It's everywhere. The TRD Pro coming in an exclusive, beautiful lime green. And I love it.
It's I got to see it in person.
Yeah.
Bill Taylor commented on it. It's different.
It's bold.
It is bold. It's very bold. That seems to be the consensus.
Yes.
Is that it's very bold. My response to one of the other people that commented on mine was it's a little too baby poo colored in the pictures for my liking.
So
in the pictures,
right.
I'll give it, because there's a lot of colors on cars that when you get them out in sunlight, you really give them a chance to come into their color, where they're supposed to be seen out in the wild. They look a lot different, and I'm hopeful that that's the case on this one, because
it's loud.
It's out there.
It's loud, and then all the red accents. I love it. So
it's Christmassy.
Yeah, the very high level details on it. Outside of let's see what the official name is. I don't want to mess it up here. So Electric Lime Metallic is the official marketing name of it. But in addition to the Electric Lime Metallic paint, there's an increase in a suspension lift over previous 2021 TRD Pro models.
Okay.
So 1.5 inches in the front and 0.5 inch in the back.
Okay.
So therefore improving approach, departure, breakover angles, and ground clearance.
Right.
Although we got the official approach and departure and breakover angles, there was no official word on the total ground clearance of this vehicle. So I'd say whatever 2021 was, add a little bit to it, and there you go. New forged aluminum TRD designed upper control arms that complement an increased rebound stroke, new wheels and styling accents, and Fox internal bypass shocks to provide exceptional off-road performance.
Is it a ZR2 killer?
I don't think it's a ZR2 killer.
I don't think they're quite...
I think it's more in line with the trimmer from Ford or Nissan finally updated the Frontier after 16 years. So the Pro 4X version of the 2022 Nissan Frontier, I think it's on par with those models. So not quite a ZR2, especially not the ZR2 AEV Bison, which has even more goodies on it.
All the letters.
Than a typical ZR2. But a pretty sweet rig nonetheless.
Yeah.
And it is the segment leader. So there is that going for it. I mean, it's keeping up with the pack as far as off-road tech and goodies.
It's hard to beat a Toyota. I mean, the shallow cab, and by that I mean the distance from the seat bottom to the floor.
It's about the only complaint you really even read.
And I actually like it.
Yeah.
I prefer it to an extent because it gets the floor up off the ground a little more, which gives you a little more ground clearance. But it handles and feels a little more like a car while still being a pickup. Most people don't like it. I actually enjoy it.
Toyota, I will gladly take, film, review this electric lime green taco for you.
Absolutely.
Please send one our way. And while we're talking about tacos, they also released a new trail edition. So we'll give you high-level notes on that. It's 4x4 only, naturally. In 1.1 inches of front increased lift and 0.5 inch in the rear. Let's see, added versatility with bed storage and driver's side storage doubles as a cooler. So that's a pretty sweet little trick. So they've done this trail edition on the RAV4 and on the 4Runner. And the 4Runner had a big tray, slide-out tray in the back of it. So it's an awesome package. It's got new bronze finished 16-inch wheels, which last week Toyota also unveiled this bronze antique version of the Highlander that has people kind of scratching their heads because it's out there.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste for sure.
It's bold.
In a very different way.
Word of the day.
Yes.
It's bold.
And then it's got the heritage-inspired grille with the Toyota letters in the front. So looks TRD Pro-ish up front. And that new awesome Lunar Rock color. I love that color. It's very similar to the Jeep Cherokee sitting in our garage right now. So if you and you know the
Area 51,
the color of the walls around us right now too. Right. I think we like this color in this household, but there's that. Then there's a special different edition GR Supra A91 CF edition. And high-level notes on that. Only 600 of them will be made. Exclusive to North America. Bold functional carbon fiber body kit with duckbill rear spoiler. So accentuating the curves we love on the back.
Right.
Oh, so much.
All the faux aero might actually become legit aero on this one.
Let's see. Special edition forged matte black wheels, 19-inch. Red calipers with Toyota Supra logo. Distinctive red and black Alcantara leather interior with unique stitching details, and 1-year membership into the National Auto Sport Association featuring high-performance driving event with expert instruction. So, nope, all still fake aero.
Well, it's the carbon stuff would suggest that some of it is...
It's the lower aero. Oh. So, it's the tacked-on body kit. So, there's that.
I tried to help you, Supra.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For the family mover of the announcement, the new...
A minivan?
No. The Corolla Cross. And it is taking the place of the funky angular, was it CHR?
Oh, yeah, the partnership with Honda.
Yeah. So
one of them's a CHR, the other one's a
HRV.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
So basically a grown-up, both in size and prospective audience Corolla that honestly the look on it looks like a very frowny face. It looks like Grumpy Cat. But it looks like you got a Highlander, a Corolla, and maybe a RAV4 and put them in a blender, and this is what you get. So picture those three vehicles all mixed together. That's about what this is.
Yeah, instead of... Yeah.
So it's a tall Corolla with hatch. There you go.
Corolla, yeah.
Nothing more needs to be said.
Yep.
And then one that you and I can rejoice over because it's back to the roots of driving.
Right.
And that's the new GR86.
The Toyota GR86 BRZ FRS thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
The partnership with Subaru.
Yeah.
The rear drive lightweight sports car.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a bigger motor.
That is affordable and is fun for all.
I did do a little bit of looking on this. It's almost 30 horsepower and almost 30 foot-pounds of torque up from the previous year.
Yep.
And it's almost a half a liter up from the previous year on the displacement for the engine. So I keep waiting on a WRX STI version
That'd be
or
nice.
what's Toyota's, the TRD
TRD Sport.
Sport,
Yeah.
like Boost,
So,
something.
so here are the quick fast facts on it. It's track tested and pro driver approved. The all-new 2022 GR86 earns the Gazoo Racing badge. Responsive and lightweight, the 2+2 Sports Coupe is designed for enthusiasts, for enthusiasts, by enthusiasts, for enthusiasts.
Okay.
Increased rigidity, more power and torque, aerodynamic body elements, and a new interior. 2.4-liter flat 4 boxer engine. Wonder where they got that thing. Let's see. Hits peak torque at lower RPMs, giving the feel of a more linear acceleration. And then just like the Supra that we just touched on, complimentary 1-year membership into the National Auto Sport Association, NASA. They need to
They didn't
check
think
their,
that one through, did
yeah,
they?
they need to check their acronyms. Featuring high-performance driving event with expert instruction. So that seems to be more and more a thing. You noted from the GT500 event you went to, any ST badged Ford product or GT350, 350R, 500 gets you,
And a Raptor.
and a Raptor gets you into Ford Performance's racing event.
Right, either track or off-road or whatever the respective vehicle is.
And then with the Bronco, you get membership into the off-rodeo driving school and events and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems to be more and more of a trend to get you hooked into that brand loyalty. If they can really show you the full capability of your vehicle in a controlled environment, that's going to make you love it all the more.
Oh, absolutely.
Because not everybody gets to go to track events like we do.
Right.
So
Well, not everybody has a track in their backyard.
that's true.
We've talked with Brian and Craig from Brake Check, and
Shout out.
one of their big complaints is we don't have any windy, twisty roads in Texas. They're all long, straight. So 238 horsepower in this little bitty car. That was my argument with these things when they came out to start with. 200 horsepower.
Right.
Or I could go get a V6 Mustang for the same money and get the same fuel economy and have 100 more horsepower.
Yeah.
So
And a lot more weight.
And a lot more weight, but 100 more horsepower
Right.
and more space. And so there, I understand the point, right? It's the Miata
Right.
feel, front engine, rear drive, lightweight. I
Back
get
to
that,
the basics of the sports car.
but it's only got 238 horsepower.
Right.
My '07 Subaru has 174 horsepower. I mean, there's not much of a difference there between them. So, I don't know. For me, for it to get exciting, slap a turbo on that thing and put it up over 300.
So we'll see if it gets that TRD badge on it in future iterations.
Bring it on.
That'd be fun. Let's see. Before we get into
we don't have to talk
your
about that.
favorite, we will talk about the Toyota 4Runner TRD Sport. So it's the TRD Pro Lite is the best way to look at it. Basically, it's
Right.
filling the gap between an off-road that anybody and everybody would necessarily need for what they're going to use on a day-to-day basis, and the best that they've got in the TRD Pro off-road version.
It's the FX4 to trimmer versus the TRD Sport versus TRD Pro. That's kind of the same.
Or a Chevy Z71 versus a Trail Boss or a ZR2.
Trail Boss is just stickers.
It really is. and a blacked out front and black wheels if you get the right ones, because why would you want to do the 20s with the low? No. Okay. You're getting me ranting about Chevys now.
You're welcome.
So the TRD Sport version of the 4Runner, which the 4Runner, bless its heart, it's old. So is the Taco, but again, it's still the segment leader. They're old rigs.
They're still selling a lot of 4Runners. I mean, people are still buying them. So,
So, and it's really the last of a dying breed, because the Xterra came and went.
Yeah.
And what other mid-size body-on-frame SUVs do we have?
The Wrangler.
And Jeep would claim that's not an SUV. It's a class unto itself.
Right. So, in essence, then in the segment, this is the only body-on-frame with a solid rear axle.
Right.
Almost across the board when it comes to sport utilities, period.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bronco 2-door and 4-door are going to be set up similarly, but they're more in line with the Wrangler. Of course, the Wrangler is, solid axle front and rear, but yeah, this is it.
So the TRD Sport version gets enhanced sport-tuned suspension for better on-road driving experience. TRD Sport adorned hood scoop, so basically screaming to the world that you've got something a little more special than just a normal 4Runner. New machine face 20-inch wheels. See, that's we quit, just quit.
Yeah,
putting anything larger than an 18-inch diameter on something that has any sort of off-road intention.
Right.
Quit doing it. You need the sidewall. Stop.
I
stop.
agree.
Everybody, just stop.
The wheels that I'm looking at for my Subaru that came factory with 16s is a 15.
Yep. See? Get sidewalls, people. Sidewalls.
It's a good thing.
Yes. All 2022 4Runners receive LED high beams in addition to low beams and fog lamps. So some cosmetic updates to an aging rig, but there's that. And oh yes, by the way, Toyota debuts all-electric SUV concept in the U.S. They are starting a sub-brand.
That's all we need to know. That's plenty.
Called
we don't have
BZ
to...
Beyond Zero, and this is
goodness.
the BZ4X battery electric vehicle concept. Includes a new all-wheel drive system packaged in a sleek SUV design.
So
a very
this past
angular
weekend,
RAV4. No, we gotta.
I'm
electrified product portfolio to expand to around 70 models globally by 2025, including 15 new battery electric vehicles. And this will solidify Toyota's global commitment towards carbon neutrality by 2050. So yes, they are joining again on the bandwagon.
That's my problem. It's not carbon neutral.
Yeah.
There is no such thing. When you manufacture something, it takes electricity. It takes it takes parts.
I got him going, gearheads.
It's not carbon neutral. Period.
All right. So the long and the short of it, for those of you listening who cannot see this, it looks like a very angular, futuristic RAV4. There, end of story. And it's all electric.
It's not very pretty.
So, there's that.
It's that EV look thing again that I'm irritated with.
So,
you want me to get started on that too?
No, we're good. Let's pivot to something you'll have much more fun talking about, and that is the event that you and I just got back from. We've talked about it on 2 previous episodes of our podcast now that we've had Cory Morrow on for. You look like you're about to play a sound effect for us, so go on ahead.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
That was the sound of
a lot of people clapping.
A lot of people clapping. Yeah, you didn't get to hear much of the planes in the background, but that was a pair to like end of World War era Russian MiG-17 jet fighters. A pair of them flying 70-year-old planes in the air, flying together in formation at Go Wheels Up this past weekend. That was how they started off the air show.
So
it was awesome.
First, let's paint the picture for the gearheads and the listeners. So yes, we've had Cory Morrow on a couple episodes already where he has talked about the event that he puts on annually. Forget 2020. So 2019, 2021, he has put on 2 of them now, air shows, car shows, and concerts called Go Wheels Up in San Marcos, Texas. And they're 2-day events. You had the distinct pleasure. My schedule got crazy, wonky, out of control. You had the pleasure of going both days, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I got the pleasure of being rained on Sunday. So was that.
We shared in that delight.
Right. But all in all, it was an excellent event.
It was awesome.
From what I got to see. Granted, they were winding things down for the second day. You got the full production of the first day. And you got a little crispy out there too.
I did, yeah. Yeah. A little sunburnt.
Yes. So this was out at the San Marcos Regional Airport. So out in the wide open for all to see and the sun to get you. And it was quite an event. I did, and I'm going to play it right here for our Gearhead listeners, get a little bit of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The highlight of the show. And let's see if we can get this on one try here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As he approaches show left, Major Smits will set up for a series of maneuvers, which will demonstrate the F-16's ability to turn tight and stay unpredictable. A trait which helps the Viper survive against low-altitude threats. He will then quickly transition from horizontal flight into the vertical. Ladies and gentlemen, from your left, it's the Falcon turn.
It was nuts, man.
Oh.
It was just nuts.
It was so good.
Hearing this thing just blow by you like that, it was ridiculous. My iPhone camera could not properly capture how loud and how intense this was.
Yeah.
Setting off car alarms
Oh, yeah.
everywhere. The parking lot at the car show. And, you know, you and I made jokes about it that heading out or leading up to the event. So we got rained on. Weather was an issue the day I was out there.
Right.
And they were keeping an eye on it because they did not want to send the F-16 out in inclement weather.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's a very expensive rig.
Yeah.
Very expensive. And so they were monitoring it. 9 minutes before it was supposed to be at the show, it had not taken off from Austin, Texas yet.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Which is like 35 miles away from where we were.
Right.
Yeah.
And needless to say, it made it there.
Uh-huh.
And also, my 3-year-old was not a fan. So, in previous episodes where we were talking about air shows and bringing ear protection for the kiddos, especially, not just yourself, in the craziness of packing things up, yes, I forgot ours because I knew Tucker would not be a fan of the F-16.
Yeah, funny. You mentioned that because we had a similar experience on Saturday. So Saturday it didn't rain, so it was sunny and muggy all day. Right. And Ethan, our youngest, had fallen asleep on Emily in the midst of the car show. There's some biplanes and quieter stuff that was going on and whatnot, and of course, being the F-16. They have to buzz the tower when they show up.
Absolutely.
Wake everybody up, flying in from behind, which I loved and I expected. But I'm pretty sure Ethan elevated off of Emily. Levitated off of Emily from the jump that he did from going asleep to F-16 at 300 feet over top of him. So, it was...
Nuts?
It was nuts.
So the beginning of that clip that I just played, he was flirting with the sound barrier as he was crossing by. And that was actually the pilot of the F-16 over the loudspeakers noting his speed as he flew by the crowd. So, yes. Yeah. Nuts.
And not 3 seconds between those 50-mile-an-hour increments either.
Right.
450, 500, 550.
Nuts.
Nuts.
So that was definitely the highlight of the show, and we were sneaking out as that was happening because, again, we had been rained on, we were soaked, we were wet. We still had another half hour to an hour drive ahead of us because we were spending the night in San Antonio that evening. Yeah. And we were, like I said, soaked and just physically miserable, and then that set Tucker off. So, we had an evening. Yeah. But once we got to the hotel, he was fine. Yeah. He was over it. He was bouncing off the wall and all that good stuff.
Well, that was the highlight of your day. My highlight came during Cory Morrow's concert.
Okay.
which he started playing about 6 o'clock that
Right.
night. We ended up staying for the concert on Sunday. Awesome concert.
Absolutely.
He puts on a great show.
Did he skydive in for that concert like he did the night
no,
before?
he didn't. He didn't skydive in on Sunday, but with the weather and everything,
Right,
it would have
right.
made it a little hairy. But there was a Black Hawk helicopter that they had on display there,
Right.
and 3 very sharp Marines that brought that bird over from wherever it was they brought
Right.
it over, and they were leaving about 7:15 Sunday evening
Right.
while Cory's playing a concert. And we had seen it taxi out to the runway area, and then I heard it wind up, the jet engines, and then I finally, it felt like 10 minutes later, the propeller starts moving, and so, okay, cool, stand up, wait on it to take off. Another 10 or 15 minutes goes by before the thing finally lifts off, but it lifts off, and it's 300 yards, maybe not quite 300 yards, probably 200 yards from where we are,
Right.
basically at the opposite end of the show, pointed the wrong direction.
Right.
So he takes off. It's about 20 feet in the air and starts easing forward and then banks the thing up in a big 180-degree turn. And I promise you, the nose of that bird was not 10 feet off the ground as he's wide open right along the flight line,
my gosh.
right next to the stage on
my
his
gosh.
way out. So you had Cory Murrow blaring music and jamming out and everything else, and you had this Black Hawk helicopter 30 feet from the stage, 10 feet off the ground,
Oh my goodness.
blowing his doors off on the way out. Yeah,
It's like leaving a car show and, doing a burnout.
that was the ultimate flex.
Yeah.
That was the flex of the whole show right there, was
Look-
those guys.
Look what I can do.
Oh, my goodness, it was so cool.
So another highlight was a World War II era plane.
Yeah,
The That's All Brother was it the plane's name, and it actually led the charge at Normandy in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to destroy any of the story here. I'm actually going to play the video and let the narration from the air show do all the talking there as it flies by the crowd. Hopefully this comes through. You label.
You can see the invasion stripes. Those are the stripes on the tail aft end of the aircraft. And they were there for a very important reason, because this airplane, the Wing Rock, was actually at Normandy during the actual airplane, sir. Absolutely. And survived, and here it is today. So, oh my gosh. Wow. I got to do quick math. 80 years later, right? Good job there from us. Yes. So taking off now is at Luftwaffe.
So that was actually the plane that Cory jumped out of the day before his concert, was an 80-plus-year-old World War II plane
Yeah.
that led the invasion of Normandy in the air. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, for those familiar with Band of Brothers, that was the plane that those airborne guys jumped out of. The same style plane that the airborne guys jumped out of. If you need a reference for, I'm sure we'll post some pictures and stuff.
Absolutely.
And then what you heard kind of over top of some of that narration was one of 3 spectacular examples of T-6 Texans
Right.
that were there, built in Dallas, Texas,
Yeah.
actually, during World War II. Really cool planes. There was a lot of really awesome aircraft at this show.
There were some really awesome land dwelling vehicles there as well. This
Yeah.
is a car podcast.
It is.
primarily. And so right there at the front gate we actually got to see it in person for the first time. The Dad Burb.
Yeah.
It was there.
Yeah.
And I like it.
It was pretty sweet.
Cory's got a pretty sweet rig there.
does.
So if you want to hear him talk about the Dad Burb, go back and listen to episodes 37 and I don't know the more recent one. But yes. So Cory does go into detail about all the work that he has done on his Chevy Suburban, a.k.a. the Dad Burb. and it's quite a spectacular rig. There were Lamborghinis there. There were Lamborghini doors on a Plymouth Prowler. There was a 1991 or 92 Camaro Z28 that I fell in love with.
Of course you
White
did.
with red interior. I can't tell you how much I wanted for my first car, a 91 or 92 Camaro Z28. I ended up getting a different American V8 powered General Motors
Right.
made car, but still, for that, I did very much like it. There was a Mini Cooper conversion there that was turned into a surfmobile that my wife absolutely loved, and I liked myself, a kind of a panel van
Yep.
look to it.
Bunch of Hellcats.
Yes.
Bunch of Corvettes.
Absolutely. Well, Sean Jones of Corvette Invasion was there, and he brought some of his friends out there
Yeah.
to, populate the car show aspect of it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Excuse me. Whew, dinner fighting back on me. But all in all, just a spectacular event, and we're already looking forward to the third annual.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to plan a whole lot better. I'm definitely going to bring stuff for rain, for shine, for all of it.
Yeah.
Because, getting soaked right in the middle of it, not the most fun in the entire world.
Did it put a damper on things?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
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 So,
Cory actually kicked off the show on Saturday with the Dad Burb.
right.
He had it parked between the stage and the Go Wheels Up letters.
Okay.
And I won't play it because it doesn't sound very good on here. But he stood on the roof of the Dad Burb and had everybody who wanted to fire up their cars.
Nice.
And they did a celebratory kicking off of the event with a bunch of revving engines, and he had big like air flight line batons,
Right.
pointing to different people, have them rev their engines and rev, this person and that person and everybody together. It was pretty cool and
Kind of an orchestra
welcomed- of muscle.
engine notes.
Yeah.
So, that's
It was pretty
awesome.
fun.
I can't. He puts on a good show. What else can we say about it?
Most
So,
definitely.
if you missed it and can make it, they're already planning the third annual. If you want to keep up to date with all that Cory Morrow is doing for the 2022 Go
Yeah.
Wheels Up event, it is gowheelsup.live. And right now it's just a landing page saying thank you for everything you did. Nice picture of the F-16 Viper
Oh yeah.
on the the front, and just saying stay tuned for more. So very much looking forward to future Go Wheels Up event and being able to cover those as semi-local to the area.
Yeah.
It was a good 4.5 hour trek.
Yeah, ours was closer to 5 because of stupid Austin
Yeah.
traffic.
So to that end, you and I must have gone two different ways. We talked last week about GPS of choice.
Right.
I used Waze. Of course, you were coming from White House. I was coming from Tyler proper. And I plugged in to go straight to the air show. I don't know where you were heading to start your day, if y'all went straight to the air show or what. But we were actually taking my preferred method of traveling Austin, and that is 95 miles an hour around Austin.
Yes. Yeah.
And completely avoided the congestion that is I-35 and smack dab through the middle, the heart of Austin.
Yeah.
And, we came up on this giant warehouse that just kept going and going and going. And then we got to the part where they were still building it. And I looked at my wife and I was like, that's got to be Tesla. And sure enough, she pulled it up. And yes, it is the Texas Tesla Gigafactory where the Tesla Cybertruck will be built. And my goodness, that thing is Texas-sized. They are going to be cranking out some electric pickup trucks, if you can call it that, from that facility.
Yeah.
And I would very much like to, do as much as we can trying to get into that facility.
Yeah. Maybe a tour or
Yeah. So Tesla notoriously does not have a PR department at all. They don't do press vehicles. They don't.
Okay.
They don't do the normal thing pretty much anywhere in any aspect of their business.
Right.
And so, the same goes to how they deal with press and media. But, being that it is, quote unquote, so close to home, 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still in Texas, but
Yes.
4.5 hours away.
Yes. To that end, ours was probably more like 5 or so hours as well, because I remember when I plugged it in the GPS, I text you, what did I say, about 11:46
Yeah,
ETA.
something like that.
Yeah, we didn't get there until about 12:30, 12:45-ish.
Yeah.
And that's because we are, this was the first major road trip with a potty trained 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And, all the, do you need to go? Do you need to go? And yeah, so that was fun. So
Yeah.
check last week's episode where we talk all things road trips, especially road tripping through Texas. But it was definitely interesting. Added a new dynamic to our
Yeah.
trip because you've got a ticking time bomb that back there that still doesn't quite know when. It goes from not a problem to emergency in
Yeah.
no time flat.
Right.
So, it definitely made for an interesting drive. I will say the trip home, coming back from San Antonio, I fully expected him to be dead asleep by Austin, but it was just past Austin before he finally passed out. And that was a nice 2.5 hours of peace and quiet, just because we knew that ticking time bomb could at least wait. But as soon as he got up, we're hunting down the next Buc-ee's or clean restaurant that we could find. So,
Okay, so you brought up Buc-ee's.
Yes.
We wanted to go back through Austin. It was Memorial Day, and I have never been in
Right.
the state capital of
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
So we were going to try and see if we could go, if it was open.
I saw the rotundas as I
Go-
drove by.
Well, yeah.
And just kept on trucking.
But to see the beautiful crest that says the Republic of Texas,
Right.
underneath the huge dome and all, just to experience all that is
The state capital of the
Yeah.
great state of Texas.
exactly. I feel a little more Texan in
Right,
my
right.
Texas-ness. So we went back through Austin, unfortunately. But we were leaving there, and we checked out of the hotel. We were leaving there, and it was around lunchtime. It was like 11. We were getting close to lunchtime, and I said something about being thirsty, and Emily said, okay, well, I'll find a Buc-ee's, and we'll pull off and blah, blah, blah. Well, the one she found was in Temple,
Yes.
which is almost an hour up the road.
Yes.
And none of us knew that until we're 45 minutes up the road going, man, I'm okay. Now I'm hungry and thirsty and
Good
a
thing
little irritated because we've been
Buc-ee's got you
dealing with
covered.
more Austin traffic.
Yeah. And the Temple traffic, I think, was as bad, if not worse, for our trip home.
Okay, we swing into Temple, and this is noon on a Monday.
A holiday.
It was a holiday, but it was a Monday. There were lines of cars to get fuel.
Yes. And they have quadruple stacked pumps.
Oh
at
yeah.
That one.
Oh, it's yeah. There. I would not be surprised if there's not 100 pumps
Yeah.
there at that particular one, or at most Buc-ee's. So we weave through the traffic to find a parking spot 600 feet from the entrance to Buc-ee's. We go inside. I've got Ethan on my shoulders. Grant's got a hold of my belt loop so we don't lose each other weaving through the people to go to the bathroom. And the line for the women's restroom was obviously out the door because
Right.
I could see them. And halfway across the store
Holy cow.
by the time we left.
Holy cow.
Buc-ee's is the size of a Walmart. The line for the women's restroom was half the length of that building.
My goodness. They're just printing money at this point, aren't they?
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
So what snacks did you get while you were there?
We didn't.
Oh, you couldn't take it?
We were hungry. We had been to the bathroom, so we were good there. There were a couple of places to eat right there by it, so we said, let's get out of this madhouse. Emily still had to go to the bathroom, so we left there instead of waiting for a half
Right.
hour to go to the bathroom for her. And we went across the street and got some lunch and got back on the road. But I've been in Buc-ee's. I've been in Buc-ee's when it was busy. I've never been in a Buc-ee's with it like that. It was a madhouse.
If you're in a hurry, the Temple Buc-ee's is not a quick in and out trip.
I'm pretty sure they could put one on the other side of the highway, like mirrored one to the other, and they would both be packed.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. So, yeah, totally insane.
How do we buy stock in Buc-ee's?
I don't know, man. Maybe we can get them to sponsor some future content.
I would love them to sponsor some future content.
Be on the lookout for that. We'll see. No promises. We'll see.
I have a confession from the weekend.
Okay. Shall we close out the episode on this note?
It would be appropriate.
Matt's confessions.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a little bit to do with speed.
Okay. Did you get a ticket?
I did not get a ticket.
Okay.
I did not get pulled over.
Okay.
But I did cry.
Okay. Do tell.
Because at the end of the car show, or excuse me, at the end of the air show, which is a 2-hour-long display of
aeronautical speed and prowess.
It's, incredible. They do a tribute flight that is the F-16 Viper and a P-51 Mustang. And they fly in formation and do a couple of different maneuvers and whatnot. And, they're talking about how it came about, how the tribute came about. It was about, 18 years ago or something like that. And when it originated, and the popularity of it from that one event meant that it has happened probably hundreds of times since over the past 15 years or so. It was more than just being a little misty-eyed.
Weepage? Was it weepage?
There was a little bit of stuff running down my face, it was just incredible. It was Memorial Day weekend, so, celebrating those who have sacrificed everything for our opportunity to be at an incredible air show and car show and not have to worry about where we're at, and to experience the technology that was the P-51 Mustang during World War II, the plane that arguably won air superiority during World War II, and then the technology development over the past, really that was only 25 or 30 years, because the F-16 came out in the mid-'70s.
Wow.
Didn't realize it was that old, did you?
No, I didn't.
It's that plane. I think it was 76 or 78 when that plane came out. And it still kicks everybody else's tail.
Right.
But to see those two planes flying together, to know what weekend it was, to have experienced what we had experienced, to feel the power of that Viper engine as it came by at 300 feet at 600 miles an hour. It just, everything about it. It was overwhelming. It was incredible. It was a humbling experience, a powerful experience, and I would highly, highly recommend carve out the time now. Go ahead and put in for it. Ask your boss off for that weekend. Plan on being at Go Wheels Up 2022.
Yep.
Are they doing it at San Marcos again next year?
They've done it. The previous two have been at San Marcos, and he's got good connections there. It's in his backyard. I would fully expect him to be consistently in San Marcos.
It's an incredibly convenient location and venue and everything, so it would make sense. But I highly, highly recommend making time to experience that. It was powerful.
So on that note, we just want to thank you again for coming and listening this week. We would like to hear from you. Comment on all our social medias or at GT Garage Talk on each and every one of them. And you can check out all things GT Garage Talk at gtgaragetalk.com. But until next time, bye.